The Russian Orthodox Church has become a blessing for Kremlin strongman Vladimir Putin. The blend of politics and religion has cemented support for the Russian leader over his actions in Ukraine and more recently in Syria. He has attempted to depict himself as the saviour of traditional values against a Western world full of liberalism and blasphemy, using such examples as same-sex marriage. It's this relationship, or this joint crusade of Putin and Patriarch Kirill, that Washington Times reporter Marc Bennetts investigates. Today, with some 70% of Russians identifying themselves as Orthodox Christians, no serious politician can afford to be seen as lacking in belief. Russian President Vladimir Putin, a former KGB agent, frequently attends religious services at the reconstructed Christ the Saviour Cathedral in central Moscow. The original was destroyed by Stalin in 1931. Bennetts then goes on to highlight how this mutually beneficial relationship plays out in public. Priests regularly sprinkle Russian space rockets with holy water ahead of liftoff, while the Orthodox Church has even held a religious service in honor of the nation's stockpile of nuclear weapons. In a development that would have made the heads of Soviet space pioneers spin, Russian cosmonauts on board the International Space Station are frequently photographed wearing religious icons. Such blatant public displays of cooperation have been played out on the Russian media channels for years. That despite the Russian constitution stipulating that the Kremlin and the Orthodox Church must be kept apart. Among the most controversial figures tackled is that of Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin, but even Patriarch Kirill was forced to wade in. In hotly debated comments earlier this month, Patriarch Kirill praised what he called the undoubted successes in industry and the military sphere during Stalin's rule. He made no direct mention of the gulags or the millions murdered by the Soviet authorities. But despite the Russian Orthodox Church answering Putin's prayers over Ukraine, Kirill has a tricky tightrope to walk. Wary of alienating worshippers in Ukraine, he has attempted not to be perceived as a vehicle of Russian state policy. But beyond Russia's borders, this perception might already be too late to change. That's all we have for the press review. This is Ukraine Today.